Welcome. It is Wednesday night football roundtable. Everyone, I hope you all have happy holidays. We're going to be talking about our schedule for the next coming weeks. If I don't get this off my chest right away and Paoli doesn't hear it right away, Hot Pockets, our loyal listener who has done every week's picks with us, last week did the impossible. He went 16-0. So it wasn't even like a short week where you had, 6 teams on by, whatever. He picked all 16 games correct. We have never had that in our history. So Hot Pockets, way to go, baby. And now he's got us, I think, by like 3 games or something. We'll see that later in the show.
Doesn't he get a sweatshirt from you, Sean?
No, he got it. Well, actually, he's going to get a sweatshirt because he's going to win the picks because none of our other viewers have done our picks. So anyway, Paoli, I got it right off my chest so you can show it to your friends right away in the first minute of the podcast, or should I say friend? Anyway, love you, buddy. So if you haven't noticed lately, we've kind of changed things up and the show runs a little weirder, and well, not weirder, but maybe a little smoother than it used to. I just want to share a 1-minute video on why this is, because this used to be the guy who ran the show.
All the shit you got to do just to put a fucking light on your computer is ridiculous. And now how did it get under the fucking blanket? You fucking beep.
Is your little niece watching you?
I gotta spray.
Oh my god. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Move the fuck over here. Jesus Christ!
Yes, David, we used to let you control the show.
Well, and just for total transparency, okay, what you didn't see was 10 minutes before the show, I was trying to get my speakers to work. And I believe I was saying those exact same words to Sean while I was on the phone with him on Facebook, trying to figure out how the hell to get my settings to work on my goddamn speakers.
Oh, my God. David, you are such a good sport, and thank you. If anything put me in the holiday mood, that clip is it.
I don't care, man. I mean, look I ain't very much tech savvy.
Well, that's why I now have the power. Go Pack, go. All right. Packers fan. And you deserve to do a little Go Pack go. And this week, I think you got a pretty good game coming up.
Mike, and just for also full disclosure, that thing got bent. Yes, I did take care of that friggin' green screen holder because it's bullshit.
Yeah, I have one. You can see it right back there. It's hiding my pile of unmentionables. So anyway, everyone happy. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's why now you see me in my office with my wrapping paper over my shoulder in a box, because again, I wasn't really prepared, and So now you can all see that Dave likes to get ready for Christmas by wrapping and then putting his crap in his office.
I haven't wrapped shit. And my next day off is Christmas Eve. So guess what I'm doing Christmas Eve? Wrapping gifts.
There you go.
So we usually do something for, well, I shouldn't say we usually. Last year we did something for the holidays. It's been such a weird pattern this year. I didn't do anything. So we're just going to say happy holidays. We're going to dive into football real quick. But David, that sweatshirt is like a relic from the past. Did you?
It is beautiful.
Did you get that from the Smithsonian? I think they had that hanging right beside the Cosby sweater.
Beautiful.
So
there ain't nothing wrong with my sweatshirt, Sean.
you have the ugliest collection of
just because you hide your Jets paraphernalia in the bottom drawer with a lock on it because you're embarrassed to take it out. Don't hate on the good taste of Buffalo culture. This is culture here.
Yes. Well, I will admit something. After week 4, I no longer wore any Jets stuff. I was so embarrassed by the way the Jets played. And like the only thing that says Jets on me is my key ring as a lanyard. So but otherwise you would never know I'm a Jet fan. Okay, so let's get on to it, and let's move on to the recap of last week. So here are the games. We had the Rams beating the Niners in a boring-ass game. And the Rams, they're in playoff contention, and they go to the Jets. They have the Cardinals at home and Seahawks at home, and that Seahawks game could be huge for both of them. Broncos have a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs, so we're not going to talk about that. What's that?
Who has a 0.1?
San Francisco.
Oh, I thought you said the Broncos. I was like, what?
I was reading San Francisco. I probably did say the Broncos. So my mistake. The Chiefs beat up on the Browns.
Let me stop you at this game. So Chiefs beat up on the Browns. Patrick Mahomes gets a high ankle sprain. Now, Patrick Mahomes today is saying that yesterday that, you know, if he's good to go, he's going to play, based on the fact that you got and I know home field advantage is important. I get that from a bye week to get people healthy and all that stuff. But let me ask you this question. If you're Patrick Mahomes, do you play against the Texans in week 16 knowing that that following Wednesday you have to play Pittsburgh? Or do you sit Patrick Mahomes for Saturday's game against Houston?
You don't do either. You don't do either. You let him play. He was a full participant in practice today. So if he's healthy, you let him go. The Texans defense, yeah, the Steelers is the one I'm a little worried about. I know TJ has got something going on, but he should be good to go. I don't think you sit him. I think the home field is way too important for the Chiefs. I think they're going to play him 2 of the 3 games. If he does take off a week, it will be because no one can catch them for the number 1 seed, and it will be at the Broncos.
My issue, and this is just me. If you let him play against the Texans and he gets hurt again, and it's a high ankle, okay, the fact is he wants to be able to – he's going to have to be able to move. He can't sit in the pocket. So he's still got to do the Patrick Mahomes things, get outside, run, move, create space, create plays outside the pocket. My issue is from the long view, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you're 13-1, you're a Super Bowl favorite. You're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFL that they talk about actually making the Super Bowl, odds on anyway. Do you risk having to go through the playoffs with Carson Wentz as your quarterback, or do you allow at least a week for Patrick Mahomes to heal? Because losing one game doesn't hurt you, but losing two and then possibly having to not have a bye and then having to run in the playoffs with Carson Wentz as your starting quarterback because you felt compelled to start Patrick Mahomes because he says he's healthy as opposed to what his body is actually doing. That would be my only issue with Mahomes starting this week at least.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think when they play him, if they can run up the score enough, they'll sit him down and replay him if they have to. But I know it's tough because, the Saturday they're playing, they got Houston at home. And then Christmas Day, they got Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. If they sat any game, maybe Pittsburgh, but I don't think they're going to sit him. I think he's going to be okay. And then they got a long break before the Broncos. But if they win both those games and there's no chance of them losing the 1 seed, I think they're going to sit him against the Broncos. And then they have the bye week for the playoffs. And that's going to give him 2 weeks to, nurse that thing a little bit. It's tough, but until it's settled for number one, if they lose to the Texans, then they lose to the Steelers. Bills are right there, and actually the Bills get number 1 seed, and they don't want that to happen. So you got to play your best people.
No, I get it. It's just a question. If it was me, I would sit him for the Texans game, and then hopefully he's ready to go. He'd have a week and a half from his injury to go up against Pittsburgh because he's going to need as much mobility against Pittsburgh that he can have. And if his mobility is limited, that's what my concern is. And you can't sleep on the Broncos or their defense. So they got 3 tough games down the stretch.
They do.
And it's just something that they really should monitor.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's in the same position because they play Saturday, they play the afternoon game, and then they got to play again on Christmas. So, TJ, he had something going on. They say he's going to be okay, but, you never know. All right, so we'll move on to the next one is the Bengals beat Tennessee. Bengals outside shot at playoffs, not really. And the Tennessee Titans have benched Will Levis. And they're starting, I don't know his name.
Mason Rudolph.
Okay. Well, honestly, I think they should have done that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, they're not playing for anything, really.
Yeah. And Commanders eked out one with the Saints. It looked like they had it in control the first half, and then the Saints came back. But now Kamara's hurt. Derek Carr's not going to be back. Commanders right now are in the 7th position in the playoff race. So I'll put the playoff race up in a moment. But they got the Eagles, then the Falcons, who are now starting. Penix is the starting quarterback for the Falcons. And then at the Cowboys, not the easiest schedule.
I think they win 2 out of their last 3. That Eagles game is going to be tough. I think they go 11-6.
Yeah, and I think they hold on to that playoff spot.
Yeah. New Orleans is in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and they got 2 tough games and one their remaining home game, and they got Las Vegas. So anyway, hey KD, how you doing?
What up? How y'all doing?
Not much. We're just going over these beautiful slides that you made for us.
Doing good. Slides brought to you by KD Arrington.
Hey, so if anybody out there they need slides made, let me know.
Right.
You got it all, man. The slide master.
Right.
All right, next game. The Ravens kicked the crap out of the Giants. Ravens got a schedule coming up, but we'll see. They got Steelers this week, and then they go to the Texans. and then the Browns. Right now, the Ravens are in playoff contention. I think they're holding the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's something to watch out for. Cowboys kicked the crap out of the Panthers, but who doesn't?
Well, Kansas City apparently doesn't.
Oh, that's true, but they won.
You're right.
So Dallas has an outside chance at the playoffs. They got the Bucks, Eagles, and Commanders. If they win all 3 and the Commanders drop 2 of the 3, that could put them in. And the Carolina Panthers have no chance in hell. Jets beat the Jaguars. And right now, we are going to start off with the number 1 spot of
Sean's idiot coaching decisions of the week.
What an idiot! That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life!
What are you, ignorant?
Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is, stupid does, sir.
One of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point could be considered a rational thought.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You are a fucking idiot.
Okay, so here we go. This is where we're going to start. And I know it's the Jets and the Jaguars. It doesn't really mean anything. But still, the Jets' luck. They go up with, 42 seconds left, and they end up losing the game. So here's where we start.
This is the Jets and the Jags this season, and they're going to let them score. Not so sure that's necessary because now you.
That makes no sense.
Okay, so you're the Jets, and you just need to win. There's a minute 8 on the clock. The other team has 2 timeouts. You're at the 1-yard line, first down. You kneel the ball. They call timeout. You kneel the ball again. They call timeout. You kneel the ball on third down. It takes 20 seconds. They got 22 seconds, and then you kick the field goal. You kick it in the end zone. They have to start at the 30. You're talking.
No,
You got 22 seconds left on the clock, and then actually the kick takes a little more off, so you got like 18 seconds.
Here's my take, Sean, and it's real simple. You're the Jets. At that point, you were 3 and what? 11? 3 and 12?
3 and 11. Yeah.
here's my take, and you're probably all wrong, but I'm the Jets. I don't give a shit. I want to score a touchdown. I want to emphatically, because at the end of the day, if you allow Mac Jones to drive down the field and score a tying touchdown or possibly a go-ahead touchdown with a 2-point conversion, and you're the Jets, you deserve to lose to begin with. You're playing Mac Jones. It's not like you're playing Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, somebody who can get down the field quick. You are playing Mac Jones. If you cannot rely on your defense to hold that offense for a minute, you deserve to lose or at least go to overtime. I don't have a problem with that play. The Jets haven't had many victories, whatever those victories were. They were just trying to put an emphatic stamp on it. If the game had mattered, if it was like playoff implications or whatever, I could see your point 100%. But with those 2 teams, neither one of them have anything to lose. So that's just why I wouldn't say in a different scenario, in a playoff clinching scenario or having to do something like that, you're absolutely 100% correct. With these 2 teams, I don't see the relevance. I think the Jets just wanted to stamp their victory. That was it.
Okay, I understand that, but they were up by 3 on Miami with 43 seconds left to go. Miami goes down, scores the field goal, ties the game. Miami wins. The week before, the Jets, Seattle. That wasn't nearly a good game, but the week before that was Indianapolis. The Jets have a culture of they're winning. They're winning with 2 minutes or less to go, but they keep getting scored on. Their defense can't stop anybody. It is what it is. Is it worth going crazy about? No. But KD, your thoughts? Was that idiot or okay?
I mean, I understand because it worked, right? Had it not worked, though, now we're talking about something different, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, some people look at the end result and say, "Hey, all right, this minuscule, this is small, and the metric of the game and the outcome of it." But if it was a playoff team, I don't know, because now we're talking. I got a playoff team on the ropes, and if it comes down to me fumbling the ball or me getting stopped, or if I like Hot Pockets just put out there, field goals are not guaranteed now. so
That's at the 1 yard line, so like you can't get any closer.
Right. But still, even then though, they're still not getting guaranteed.
Tyler Bass missed a 20-yard field goal Sunday. I'm just saying.
See what I'm saying? And I think all three of us could probably kick a freaking 20-yarder.
Sure.
Well, we'll find out. Okay, now back to the games. So then we had Dolphins lost to the Texans. That I kind of think that Dolphins are like they're just cooked. I think they have aspirations to get the playoffs, but I think it's a little too late.
The Dolphins is an interesting franchise because they put out these type of efforts in these games, but yet when people were trying to acquire some of their players in via trade, they were like, "No, we legit. We still got a chance to make the playoffs." And you come out here and you shit in the bed every week. So it's like, all right, I think the Dolphins are saying, hey, to themselves, look, we need to have a small mini tank for the rest of the season so we can try and crack the top 15.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you guys your opinion about something, because the Dolphins, after this game, they released Odell Beckham Jr. They gave him his release. Okay. And everybody talks about Mike McDaniel being this offensive genius coach. Okay. And maybe Odell doesn't have much left in the tank. But my issue is we don't know, because Mike McDaniel's a coach who has Tyreek Hill, has Jalen Waddle, the running game with the Shane Mostert, right? Jonnu Smith, the tight end, who's come on in the last 4 or 5 weeks and really dominated, especially after Tua came back from his concussion, trying to get the ball out quicker, making Tua not hold the ball as long. My issue is everybody's talking about Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, he couldn't even do anything in Miami. My issue is, for all the wonderful hype that Mike McDonald gets, and I'll ask your opinion, when you can't figure out, number one, what to do with Jalen Waddle as your number 2, because he has subpar stats. He's a quality outside receiving threat, especially on a team with Tyreek Hill. And then you have an Odell Beckham Jr. that you can't seem to fit in your offense. Does that speak more to the ineffectiveness of an Odell Beckham Jr. or the ineffectiveness of the head coach in understanding what to do with his players? Sean, I'll ask you first.
I think it has to do with Odell Beckham. I think his time has passed. He hasn't, you don't get the reps. I don't even remember a game he had where he had more than 2 catches. He's had nothing this year. He had nothing last year with Baltimore. He was, really non-existent. Real quick to answer Paley's question, Mike McDaniel, no, I don't think he gets fired this year, because he's had to deal with a lot of injuries and stuff like that. I think he's going to survive. Although next year, if this happens, I think he's definitely on the hot seat, if not out. And I don't know how many more years he has on his contract. It's either 1 or 2, but I don't. If he goes through the same thing next year as this year, he's out of there. KD?
Yeah, you kind of said what I was going to say when it come down to him giving a pass this particular year because of some of the injuries. But again, next year, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say it. Within the first 8 weeks, if stuff doesn't look right, if they're not at least 5-3, I don't see him lasting, getting to their bye, depending on when their bye is. Because again, it's just like what you said. Like people are looking around and seeing, hey, okay, look, some of these other teams are taking strides and so forth and so on. But you guys had your team assembled before they started to take these strides. And the two teams I'm looking at is the Chargers and the Broncos. They're starting to take strides and move closer to Kansas City. They're not ready for the throne just yet, but it's getting a little significantly tighter. Whereas with Buffalo and Miami, it looks like it's going this way rather than getting tighter when it comes down to it, because a lot of people are basically saying, Miami was the next in line to challenge the Bills for the East. And it just does not look like that whatsoever. And I just can't imagine the GM or even the head coach surviving much longer. I just can't see it.
Let me answer that about the Mike McDonald. I mean, I could see him.
Daniel, is that Ronald's brother?
Yeah, sorry, Mike McDaniel. I could see him getting fired. I could see him getting fired at the end of this year. I don't know if they wait. I think the biggest thing is for them to fire him, you'd have to find out who was out there and more importantly, what you're looking for in a head coach. And I mean, McDaniel came in as the nice, hot, offensive guru, young guy from Sean McVay's staff who was going to come in and shake up and be able to run this offense. And for some reason, I don't know what that reason is, he can't seem to get out of his own way. Like I said, you have a Tua, you have your guys, you have Waddle, and you have Hill. And Waddle is a very talented wide receiver, and you can't get him involved in a game plan. Now, I don't know if that's the head coach. I don't know if he calls plays, if he's part of the offensive coordinating staff. I would assume that he would be. And when you can't have a guy, when you have a guy like Tyreek Hill, who demands double coverage just based on his speed alone, and you can't figure out ways to isolate Jalen Waddle in mismatches or so on and so forth, to me, and to KD's point, everybody thought Buffalo was in this rebuild mode. They lost their 5-7 captains. They lost their offense. They lost 3 guys on defense. Everybody was talking Jets and Miami were going to surpass Buffalo because of the Jets defense, the guys that Jets had on offense, Miami's offense, Miami's defense getting better, so on and so forth. And instead of both those teams closing the gap, well, we got one coach who got fired in week 5 because he didn't close the gap. And, I don't necessarily believe that McDaniel deserves a pass because in the last 4 years, with the talent that he's had, he hasn't been able to close the gap. So depending on which way Miami wants to go, I don't necessarily think that he does survive after this season.
I don't know. Last year, wasn't he 1 game behind Buffalo? Weren't they tied going into the last week?
I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but I mean
they made the playoffs.
But then even then though, it took Buffalo to go, I think, undefeated, right? 6-0.
Yeah, Buffalo went on a 5-game losing streak, yet still won the division.
Right.
They had to win out the rest of the year when Miami was 2 games ahead of them at the time.
And they fumbled it. They fumbled it bad.
Yeah, and Tua was out for how many weeks last year after the Cincinnati game? So, I mean, I see what you're saying, and it has merits, Jeff. Absolutely. But we'll just agree to disagree on this one.
Oh, no.
We got a lot of stuff covered in it.
It's all good.
And real quick, before we move on, FTC Sports Talk Radio.etsy.com. You need to go on here and buy like 4 T-shirts, everybody who's listening, all 3 of you, 4 of you. And just, if you see your neighbor out there and he's getting ready to paint his house, give him it. Say, hey, this is what you should wear to paint your house. Do something. If it's not going to get there in time for the holidays. But if you have that crazy person who just drops by, you'd be like, hey, take this piece of shit sweatshirt. It's great. So get on there and buy. All right, next game. Okay, Indianapolis Colts at the Denver Broncos. This game started off all Colts. And then when it went bad. And real quick, I'm going to show you, this is part 2 of idiot coaching decisions.
Or use the run game or quarterback run game. They set up Mitchell. It's going to be a double pass. And that one is intercepted. Oh! It's Bonito. Unbelievable.
So I'm just going to Okay. Anyone want to refute the coaching decision?
I'm not refuting anything. It's stupid. I'm pretty sure they were up 17-13 at that point.
They were down. It was 17-13. They were down.
They were down? Okay. Even then, like, it wasn't. You didn't need an element of surprise play, right? The other thing about it is, if you look at it, it is a one-man route. None of those receivers to that side where he threw the ball at did anything. So that automatically alerts where the ball just came from. Hey, retrace my steps and see if he tries to throw it back here. And I watched the guy, Adonai Mitchell, tried to explain, like, hey, we worked on this all the time in practice. Look, just be quiet. Just don't say anything else because you make yourself look foolish. So again, if you're out there on the field, you see the Bronco guy coming towards your quarterback. Even if you complete it, it's still a loss. So why throw it back there when hey, the play is dead in the water? Hey, look, I can't throw it back there. I got 3-on-3. Hopefully I can get 4 yards out of this. Let me just run the ball. Let me catch it and run it down the field and see if my guys can give me a block to spring me. Coach, whoever the coach is that made that play, take that out of there. We don't need that no more. Maybe if you're going to do that play, I think
wow, that's fucked up.
So maybe if you're going to do that, right, maybe go faster. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, hey, okay, look, instead of a trips, I have a doubles, and I have that guy a jet motion into it, and then go from there. Doing it like you did it just did not work out. Did not work out whatsoever.
Well, and if you watch the play, when he throws it back to Richardson, the guy came through. There were 2 linemen standing there, and no one touched him. Like, they were like, oh, let's see this happen. What's going on? Oh, shit, that guy just ran back.
Here's my thing. On a trick play like that, all right, first of all, what was the score going into that right now?
It was 13 for Indy and 17 for the Colts. So
you're beyond midfield. Obviously, I don't know what happened prior to that, but obviously you've had momentum and you're moving down the field. So my issue is this. I got a couple. Number one, if you're going to do that trick play, and I don't have no problem with trick plays in certain situations if you're trying to create a spark. Okay, just like I talked about in Baltimore, when Buffalo came out, kind of started to get some momentum and then tried to do the trick gadget play, which basically killed any kind of momentum that they might have had. Okay, not saying that it would have changed the outcome, but they were gaining momentum and starting to move. They came out, scored a touchdown, held Baltimore, got the ball back, and then decided to play razzle-dazzle for some reason. But this play in particular, first of all, you don't run and throw the ball to the receiver 25 yards across the field for him to throw it back to you. Because number one, if you look at the play, Anthony Richardson there was no hiding the fact on that play from the linebacker that he wasn't getting the ball back. He threw the ball and then stood there and waited like this for him to throw it back. So there was no wow, hey, this is a great play. I mean, you couldn't telegraph a play happening any better than what happened. And if you look at Adonai Mitchell, when the ball was thrown to him, he had to flip the ball and get the grip right for him to throw it back, which again lengthened the play's development. If you're going to do something like that, throw like a little 5-yard out and then get the ball back. That way your receivers can break off, do what they got to do. You don't want to have a slow developing gadget play in the back. And then outside of that, I just want to say something about the Denver Broncos. To me, outside of Baltimore, like outside of the division winner, the division leaders right now in the playoff hunt, to me, the Denver Broncos with their defense and what they're able to do on offense with Bo Nix and stuff, they are one of the scariest teams going into the postseason. Just watching what they do and how they win games.
Yeah, that's agreed. They grind it out, man. That is, I forgot to download the damn slides. Damn it, for the offensive, the coach of the year, whatever that you did today. I can get those up in a second. Anyway, just want to watch this play again, real quick.
Run game or quarterback run game is set up. Mitchell's going to be a double pass.
Okay, so let me unmute myself. I am unmuted. Cool. So mute. See what I'm talking about with the line?
Yeah.
And he just came right through. No one was even looking at him.
And if you look at Anthony Richardson, he's on his knees trying to catch the ball because it's a 25-yard pass back against his body.
Yeah, and actually he's past midfield, so it's like a 60, 65-yarder, which is ridiculous.
No, but I'm saying vertically, side to side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's past midfield, and the receiver's almost at the sideline.
Right.
So that's more than
and so even if he makes that play,
it's a 35-yard pass. Sorry.
Even if he makes that catch, he's dead to rights. He's done. I mean, that play just lost you 10 yards if he doesn't intercept it.
Yeah, just completely asinine.
Ridiculous.
So, okay. Let's move on, and then we're going to go to Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions. Game wasn't that close as the score says, but you know me, I can't lay off Dan Campbell.
Seems a little early, Tony, but here we go. 12 minutes to go. Onside kick.
What the hell are you
Ball bounces around. Is picked up by Hollins, and he's running with it. Hollins tackled down at the 5-yard line.
He hits some.
I mean, really, you're down by 10. Surprise onside kicks had an 18% chance of working. Okay, so if you did that 10 times, twice, a little less than twice, you had a chance of it working. Now that you can't do it and you have to announce it, you have a less than a 6% chance. So that means if you tried an onside kick 100 times, 6 times you're going to why would you instantly put a team that's up by 10 in that position to go up by either 17 or 13? What the fuck? And this is what I'm talking about with Dan Campbell.
And it's funny because I watched First Take Monday morning, and I forget who it was. It might have been Greeny or it might have been Damian Woody, and they were talking. He says, you know how good a guy like Josh Allen is when, with 12 minutes left in a game, the coach has to onside kick it. And because they have to declare it's not even a fake onside kick or a surprise onside kick, because at that point you had, and again, I will say this was a bad play. I agree with that. But also, let's put into context the reality of this situation. At that point, Detroit lost 2 defensive players when they already had 19 on IR. At that point, Dan Campbell, not because for lack of trying, but had no faith in his defense of being able to stop Buffalo at all. I mean, they hadn't stopped them all game. They lost the cornerback, and then they lost the defensive tackle to season-ending injuries. They lost David Montgomery to a season-ending injury. So at that point, when you're trying to do anything you can, again, not the right call, especially with the new rules of having to declare. But that being said, you have to try to do something because you don't have the faith that your defense is going to be able to stop Buffalo's offense. And to the kicker's credit, that was a perfect onside kick. You couldn't have asked for a better 1-2 high bounce. Mac Hollins made an amazing play to jump up. And
great tip on the ball.
But
absolutely,
because it was an absolutely, like, if you wrote up an onside kick and how you wanted that ball to hit and then make that big leap, that was beautiful. I mean, you don't draw up an onside kick with the football better. Ill-advised, but not for the reasons we think. I just don't think he had faith in his defense to do it. But it was an ill-advised play, and it was a head-scratcher.
Well, I think it was wrong because they gave up 7 points after that, and they only lost by 6.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I agree with you. I agree.
KD, your thoughts on that play?
I don't like the play whatsoever because you panicked. Like let's be real. You know, Josh Allen had 11 drives. Did he score 11 touchdowns? No, he did not. So I got it. You wasn't getting the turnovers, but 3 and outs or 5 and out or 7 and out or a field goal or whatever, those things was happening. So I don't know who told you, hey, you couldn't stop Josh Allen. I'm not sitting there saying, hey, you're gonna just let him go down and he's gonna definite that he's gonna go score on this particular drive right here. When I'm down by 10,
we only punted once.
That's fine. You had 12 drives or 11 drives. You didn't put up 66 points or 77 points. So evidently something was happening. I got it. No turnovers. I understand that.
No. I get it.
The thing that he had to understand is, hey, okay, what is going on with this particular team? Same thing with them, right? They had 12 drives, right? They were kicking field goals. They were scoring touchdowns late in the game or whatever. They made it a game or whatever it may be. Once you made it a game, you had the momentum. All you had to turn around then and do is say, okay, look, how have they been killing me? And I'll tell you what really, really hurt them and what caused this panic. What hurt them is not having somebody to supplement the run game once David Montgomery went down. Once he went down, it looked like they would just say, hey, look, we're a 7-on-17. We're going to throw it around the yard. And that's what it was. And it sucks because you put yourself in that particular predicament when you really didn't have to until you confirmed it for sure. Hey, look, we down 10. Let me see if Buffalo can go do it again. You got to prove me. You got to prove it to me. Because Detroit is one of those teams that, hey, they can strike fast. They can strike fast no matter, even if Buffalo goes down and get 3 points on that ensuing drive, 1 touchdown, you're right back in the game. It's a 6-point game or whatever it may be. We don't know if that was going to happen all the time. I don't get it, especially with the whole you have to declare it. So there's no element of surprise. So I just did not get it at that particular time.
Yeah. And the one thing that really hurt Detroit from a game plan standpoint, I mean, besides Montgomery getting hurt at that point, but, you know, when Buffalo went out to that 14-0 lead, I think that was where the panic started, because anything from a game plan, run, do this, do that, control the clock, I think that started to quickly go out the window based on the game plan that Joe Brady installed, where he would isolate the running back on Quan Alexander or the other linebacker. And take advantage of those situations and being able to move down the field, and Josh Allen being able to get out of the pocket and create plays and do those things. So I think once that started happening and that 14-0 snowball started, I think that's when the first sign of panic of, oh, okay, we need to change this up. And they did. After we went up 14-0, I think it was 5 plays, 70 yards, marched down the field, made it 14-7. And then Amon-Ra fumbled the ball and we got the ball back, I think. And then we went up 21, or maybe it was the next series that he fumbled and then to make it 28-14. I forget exactly what order because I didn't really watch the game because I was working. But I watched it when I got back. I just forgot the order of scoring. But so I think it was just a matter of, and look at nothing for nothing. Both these teams defensively. I mean, Buffalo hasn't looked good the last 2 weeks defensively. Going into this game, both starting safeties were out. Rasul Douglas was out. The Lions, like I said, I think they have 19 defensive players now on IR. I think they have 21 or 22 guys on IR. So from that standpoint, I mean, the fact that we still talk about Detroit being good, Super Bowl contender and everything is a tribute to the things that Dan Campbell and the Detroit organization have been able to do to supplement those injuries that their defense has suffered. It's just been insane. So,
all right. So here we go. We're going to move it on here. I just want to play this one last little clip. It's not an idiot coaching decision. This is just, I'm just trying to refresh Dave's memory a little bit.
And that kick is no good. Oh, my goodness. They had it down to the 2-yard line.
David, with that kick, what happened with that kick?
What happened?
What was it? What do they call that?
Shut up, dude. It was wide right. I get it.
Wide right.
Shut up.
That's right. Oh, my God. I understand Bills fans may have forgotten what wide right looks like. I understand it's been 11 months. You're trying to get it out of your.
Sean, when's the last time you smelled the playoffs?
2010.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, that's okay. When's the last time you won a Super Bowl? Never. So, okay. Anyway, enough playing around. Let's go back to the games. So the Steelers and Philadelphia Eagles. Oh man, Eagles. Not extraordinarily pretty, but you know what? They won. AJ Brown got a touchdown. So he was happy. Steelers. So the Steelers got Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals coming up, and they right now have the top seed for the AFC North. Eagles obviously have the NFC East taken. Philadelphia, they got the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. They could end up taking the number 1 seed.
It could be 15-2.
Yeah. And
but
I think
actually,
15-2.
But actually, if Minnesota wins out, they take the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
By virtue of their tiebreaker, both those teams, Minnesota and Philly, could end up 15-2, but Minnesota would take the tiebreaker. I forget what the tiebreaker was, but Minnesota would end up with the number 1 seed.
Okay.
But no, you know what? I'll tell you. And I wanted to go on this thing because, we get in these chats and, it's always about officiating this and officiating that and so on and so forth. And look, the fact of the matter is what I've said all along, when you jump out to a big enough lead on Pittsburgh, they are not a team that is built to come back from large deficits. They're just not built that way, especially against quality defenses and quality opponents. And that's just the reality. People can argue about it. People can blame an official for not making a call, or people can do this or do that. But at the end of the day, when you look at a team and how it's built, number one, the best way for Pittsburgh to take care of somebody is to be able to run the ball, and they couldn't do it at all. To control the clock, to have a team not score over 20 points, and keep it within a field goal game, because Pittsburgh has the best kicker in the league, no doubt about it. But when your kicker accounts for over half of your offensive points, that's a testament to how bad offensively you really are, and how good defensively you really are to have a 10-4 record. So there's a disconnect between those two areas of the team. Offensively, they need to pick it up, because that kind of football in the playoffs will get you bounced in round one. There's too many good teams that go into the playoffs that will bounce you out of round one. I don't care if you finish number 2 seed, number 3 seed. Those teams at the bottom are built to bounce you out.
Okay, real quick. Paley was asking about the Washington play where, Slay and whatever. I saw the play. I have no fucking idea what happened. KD, what were your feelings about this game? Did you see it all, or?
I seen it. If he was talking, I'm gonna answer Paoli's question first. If he's talking about the block being blocked out of bounds or whatever, I coach. I love it when one of my big uglies get their hands on a defensive back and they take advantage of them. I love it, right? However, it's controlled chaos, right? If it's outside of the white, at some point you got to see and say, all right, let's dial it down, right? When you don't do that, you're subjective to a retaliation, right? And you're no longer protected by the whistle or the referees or whatever it may be. And he has to understand that, like, hey, okay, I secured what I need to secure. I'm good to go. This is what it is, right? And what happens, right, when you do those things, all the other stuff goes out the window, because how it is looked at. If I catch the initiator is going to get what he's going to get, right? Because just truth be told, I got it. You say, hey, it was a punch thrown. Was it a punch? The guy is 6'7", 6'8". The guy was just trying to get him off of him. I don't know if it was a closed fist punch. Now, will I tell Washington to dial it down? Absolutely not. I will never tell him to dial it down, right? But I will tell him to be smarter about how he do business. If he plants that guy on his back and he's somewhere on the white, not even all the way out of it, I think they let him keep playing, right? And for him not to do that, some people will say, hey, it cost them points, it cost them the game or whatever it may be. There were other opportunities, right? There were other opportunities in this game. The thing that I say is just like what Dave was talking about. The thing that I would say is always going to be one of the things that you got to look at is how well the Steelers run the ball, no matter if they win or lose. Because if they don't run the ball, that's an indictment on them. It's an indictment, and there's nothing against them. It's how they're constructed. It's how they're built. It's what we do in the AFC North. The team that can't run the ball is subjective to games like this, where the games feel like it's super flat and they haven't done anything significant on offense. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing about that, because about the blocking thing, because like, I know that Pittsburgh got 2 personal fouls on that play, because I think the next guy after that initial blocking thing, another guy came in and pushed the Eagle, and the Eagle like swung his arm at him or whatever. I don't know if he connected or not, but he swung his arm. Could have. I'm not trying to get Eric all mad at me if he sees this, and he could have connected, but the Steeler guy initiated the second point of contact out of bounds. More importantly, there was a game, I think like week 5 or week 6, that Eric was livid about, because the Pittsburgh Steelers on special teams got called for illegally blocking out of bounds because he took the guy on the punt return and blocked him and continued blocking him all the way to the Steelers bench. And there was a penalty called. It was a illegal block out of bounds. Once you get him into the white as a defender, you are to disengage. You are no longer, you're not a part of the field. If you continue to block out of bounds, it's a penalty. Keon Coleman got the same call against one of the teams when he took the guy and blocked him to the bench. That's just a rule. I mean, so to sit there and granted the block happened. I mean, Washington was just doing his job, okay, and doing it well. I mean, he took Darius Slay to the 5th row up in the stands and was going to buy him a beer, and good on him. But like KD said, the onus is on the offensive player to understand when the play is over. And it comes down to discipline and coaching. And Mike Tomlin, we've seen videotapes of Mike Tomlin chewing out his players or saying, hey, you play for your team. Be smart, be smart, be smart. I don't care that this guy smacked you in the head. The time's running off the clock. You got to be smart. And, you know, like I said, Washington was fantastic. It was a great block, but he's got to understand, okay, he's at the end zone line. I'm in the white. Let go. And if he falls, whatever, but he's got to let go. So.
All right. So let's move on. Next game. Patriots and the Cardinals. Who gives a shit? Tampa Bay at Chargers. That was a beatdown. Wasn't expecting that score. I thought Tampa Bay was going to win, but that was a beatdown. What the hell happened in this game? Can anyone tell me?
Go ahead, KD. Do you have something to say?
It's one of those things. The Chargers are missing, even though he's a rookie. Lat McConkey is the guy to kind of get the short intermediate thing going. Quinn Johnston is his resurgence. It got kind of, bottled back up, if you will. They didn't just let him go and do what he was doing the previous games, running around, getting yards after the catch and whatnot. I do think Mike Evans gave them fits, though. I just felt like Baker had him on command anytime he wanted. It seemed like, at least. And it's to the point to where it was like, hey, okay, we really don't need our run game to do what they do, but we have it going, so we'll use that along with Mike Evans. And I just felt like Baker never was, how I want to put it, put in a mode where he had to go out and be a gunslinger. And look, it's slow and methodical. We doing what we need to do, and we'll be perfectly fine. And the defense came to play as well, because that defense kind of, again, bottled up Justin Herbert, didn't let their run game really get going. And I think that was the thing that hurt them. 11 carries, I believe, for 23 or 32 yards. I could be wrong for the Chargers. That's huge. I mean, I got it. Gus Edwards I'm not Gus Edwards, but J.K. Dobbins went down a couple weeks ago. But Gus Edwards is still a good compliment to him. Or in some people's cases, if you ask him, they'll say Gus Edwards, and in fact, probably the better back overall. Again, it depends on who you talk to. I just felt like, again, as they was turning the corner, they didn't get what they needed to get from all the other guys. Lat McConkey, I got it, but he was not his usual self. The 5 catches, I think if he'd have got a little bit more going, I felt like they could have made it a little bit more of a game. In the Chargers defense, I have no idea where they went, because I was ready to say, hey, okay, look, as they got healthier, I was ready to say, hey, look, the Chargers could surprise some people in the playoffs, and I just don't think their defense is there. It's one of those things is actually surprising, because Bucky Irvin, 15 carries for over 100 yards. That's video game numbers. you can't give that up. You give that up to that player week in and week out, you're not going to win many games, playoffs or not.
Yeah, Montgomery getting hurt. I had to pick up Bucky Irvin in one of my fantasy leagues because I made the playoffs and I got to do everything. Speaking of playoffs, Katie, did you make the playoffs? No, okay. I just want to make sure because you do see me there, right? You see me there? You see? Okay. Real quick, David, I'm going to go to you about this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up another slide real quick. The Chargers holding on to that 7 seed. And with their schedule, they got the Broncos and then 2 Patriots and 2 the Raiders. I'm thinking that's a 1 and 2. I mean, 2 wins, 1 loss. Do you think they're going to hold on to that 7 seed?
I'd have to look at the rest of the.
Yeah, I didn't have that. Who's in the hunt?
Miami. I think Miami would have the outside chance, or the Bengals, because I think the Bengals can finish 10-6, right?
Let me pull it up. I'm sorry, I just pulled this slide up.
Bengals can't finish 10-6.
What's their record right now?
I think the Bengals are 6-8.
So.
Yeah, give me a half a second, David. I'll just start murmuring stuff, and I'm going to my.
Yeah, Bengals are 6-8.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I think it would be. I think the only one who's really able to do anything would be Miami in terms of catching them record-wise.
No, Miami can't catch them. They 6-8 as well too. So. The teams that could probably there is no team. Now other teams can drop down,
right,
and they can push them out. For instance, Baltimore. If Baltimore loses 1 more game, they can push them out of that, and they'll end up in the 7th spot.
Right. So basically, the AFC is pretty much set, other than seeding. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, there's 3 weeks left. If LA was to lose 3 games and Indy, Miami, or Cincinnati were to win 3 games, they could take over that 7th spot.
Right.
But it's got to be a 3-game loss to a 3-game win.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's fine. But the Chargers to me are a lot like Pittsburgh. Okay, as their run game goes, so go the Chargers. That's their identity. That's Jim Harbaugh's football. Again, they got a much better quarterback in Justin Herbert. The problem is they don't have the horses to run with Justin Herbert yet. Ladd McConkey is going to be a fixture there. Quentin Johnson is too inconsistent. The Palmer is good, but he's not great. You need to have that one playmaker outside of McConkey on the outside to really elevate the Chargers and make them a complete team. Yeah, their defense did a disappearing act in this, but I think that had more to do with the fact that they were on the field a lot longer and got tired and worn down, and Tampa Bay just wore them down and wore them down and wore them down. But again, the makeup of the Chargers is if they can get their run game going and keep the defense off balance of the opponent they're playing, they're in a much better situation. And until they're able to address that other playmaker on the other side of the ball, opposite McConkey, somebody more consistent, and maybe Quentin Johnson gets it and the light goes off in his 3rd year. Until they do that, it's going to be, as the run game goes in Los Angeles, so go the Chargers. Offense.
Right, so real quick, the Bucks they go to the Cowboys and they have the Panthers and the Saints. I think those are 3 very winnable games. They're currently in the 3rd seed. I don't think they're going to climb to the 1 or 2 seed, but I was not expecting that out of Tampa Bay this year. I mean, they're looking damn good, and this just compounds the Deshaun Watson acquisition and the Baker Mayfield exit. I mean, I don't want to get into it again, but
No. I don't. I know. All I'm saying is I don't necessarily agree with that perspective. I mean, Deshaun Watson's Deshaun Watson. I think what the Tampa situation goes to the over expectation, like another team in the AFC East had for an aging quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. There are certain things that you can't do and do them well. I mean, Kirk Cousins, his arm is dead. That's why he's benched. He can't push off with the bottom part of his body because his Achilles is still.
Neither can Aaron Rodgers.
Huh?
Neither can Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to get into it, but
I know. But all the only thing I was saying is that I think people had high expectations for these quarterbacks based on what they were before their injury, not taking into account that they're not 25, they're 38 and 40. And your body has to heal, and it heals a lot slower when you're 38 and 40 as opposed to 22 to 25. And so the expectation that people put on these people was a little more than I think what should have been. I mean, on paper, yes, you get Kirk Cousins. Did you get Kirk Cousins when he's 100% healthy? No, you got him coming off an Achilles injury. Right. So, I mean, that's just it. I mean, that's just where I'm at.
Sure. Okay. And I just, want to respond to Jay. Jay, he just dropped their D, and we all know that Jay doesn't usually drop D. So he usually retains all that D. And yes, I do know Jason. So I've met him twice. So we're like good buddies here. So, okay. Packers at Seahawks. Wow. This was just, this was abysmal. Seahawks were looking good. Like, okay, we're in control of the division. We got it. We could do, and then they just shit the bed here. Green Bay's got Saints, and then the Vikings, they have to go to the Vikings and look at the Bears at home. So I think we're looking at 12 and 5, possibly if they're lucky, 13 and 4. And the Seahawks, the Vikings, then they got the Bears. They have to go to the Bears and go to the Rams. I'm thinking Seattle's just going to slip out of there. I think the Packers probably, if they stay healthy and nothing goes crazy, they're going to still stay in their fifth, sixth position, which I think is really good for them because that puts them with Tampa Bay right away. I think that's a winnable game, and they can move in the playoffs.
I got to tell you something about Seattle, and that was really just kind of baffling to me. And Green Bay played a great football game. Romeo Doubs came back from injury, made some incredible catches, especially that touchdown in the back of the end zone. I thought that was fantastic. But the baffling thing, and maybe I give him too much credit, and maybe I thought that he was better than what I thought he was. But for Sam Howell to come in after Geno Smith got hurt, Sam Howell, the one thing we got to remember is when Sam Howell was the starting quarterback in Washington, he led the league in passing yards. So he's a good quarterback. And what I watch, in terms of statistical, he might not have been, but statistically, he led the league in passing yards. Yeah, he might have had the most passes, but he led the league in passing yards. But I watched him come into that game, and that was what? Like right before halftime. And I don't think, maybe once, maybe twice, did I see him throw to a wide receiver. All he was doing was throwing to a tight end. And to me, I know Green Bay put a lot of pressure on him. I know they showed him a lot of different blitzes and stuff like that. But to watch him come in there and just DK Metcalf was held with nothing. Tyler Lockett was held with nothing. JSN was held with nothing. It just really shocked me. And again, Green Bay's defense played amazing. But I thought Sam Howell would have showed me a little bit more than what he did coming into that game. Katie, any thoughts on that?
This is one of those games where they're missing their workhorse at running back. It is what it is. Right? The passing threat that he is, you just missing that. So to not have it, I just felt like that kind of put them behind the curve, the power curve, as you will, if you will. The other thing is JSN came on really strong again the last couple of weeks, and I felt like he was kind of he still got 10 catches, but he didn't get it into the end zone. I think that was the one thing that they were used to, especially with DK Metcalf struggling. You kind of needed that. And you know, Tyler Lockett, I don't even know if the guy's still in the league. It just doesn't even feel like he's been doing anything as of late. Maybe I'm wrong. But yesterday or this past weekend, he just didn't feel like, you know, he was a part of the game plan. I just think they got to get Kenneth Walker back. If they don't get Kenneth Walker back, it's about time you start to use Kenny McIntosh a little bit more. I know he's more than capable coming out of Georgia, so he can help shoulder a load if need be. I just feel like going forward, if they're going to make a push for that final playoff spot, they got to have their running game there, especially if Geno is out for long periods of time, which I heard he was back at practice today. If he's back at practice and he's able to go, you got to have a run game to keep him as fresh as possible. Because if he's going to get rushed like that, the dump offs are good, especially for Kenneth Walker, because I know he's a good receiving back. I know Kenny McIntosh is more than capable of doing it as well. I don't know about Zach Charbonnet if he can really he's a really receiving threat in the backfield. But yeah, Seattle was in trouble from the moment they stepped on the field and they weren't getting all their receivers and running backs involved. I just knew it was about a matter of time before Green Bay was going to feast on them defensively. So,
yeah, you could tell our resident Green Bay fan.
Okay. Well, also Jay, they're injured too. That's the other thing on the offensive line. They're injured. So, I mean, I got it. Yeah, you guys do have a good pass rush. I'm not going to take them from that, but they are injured. So.
Yeah, I'll say Edgerrin Cooper's come on the last couple of weeks, man. I liked him coming out of college, and I'm telling you that he's a good young linebacker.
Guess who's consulting with Green Bay's defense right now? That would be Robert Saleh. Anyway, another Jets mistake. Okay, so let's go on to these last two. We're not really going to talk about these because they're meaningless. The Vikings beat the shit out of the Bears. It was just ugly all around. No need to talk about it. And Falcons, Raiders. Yeah. And the thing is, I will say the only team, because I'm going to bring this up real quick. The Falcons are only 2 games behind Washington. And looking at the Falcons last 3 weeks, even though they have Penix starting, they got the Giants, Commanders, Panthers. There's a chance they could possibly sneak into the playoffs. I don't think it's probable. I'm just saying it's possible. So something to watch.
What I would say about that, Sean, is if Michael Penix gives you the best chance to get your team to the playoffs at this point, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he does or doesn't. I haven't seen enough of him other than mop-up time to really make a judgment. But here's the thing. If you are 2 games out and you have that kind of schedule where you have the opportunity to make the playoffs if that happens, what does that really say about Kirk Cousins and his health and just his ability anymore? I mean, the fact is,
if says he's going to be the next Jets quarterback.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you're at that point and you're still fighting for a playoff spot, but you think that Michael Penix Jr. is your best opportunity, granted, you got the Giants and you got the Panthers sandwiched in there in the middle is who, the Commanders? Is that what that was? I think so. But either way,
yep.
Yeah, I just think that you're it's a statement that you're making that this guy just can't win it for you. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have done it yet. I would have waited to see what Cousins did against the Giants, and then what's going on in the number 7 seed team to find out, as opposed to really just throwing the season away at this point, if that's what it looks like you're going to do. Katie, any thoughts on that?
To answer Jay's question, no, I'm not putting Penix in. I'm not. We built the offense and we called the offense as if Kirk Cousins was going to be the starter. They don't have the same skill set. That's the other thing too. So when it comes down to that, like, hey, I don't understand the move, especially if the playoff is in our grasp. If the playoff is in our grasp, why not? Hey, look, Kirko, this is what we're going to do. We're going to scale it back from what we've been asking you to do, the big throws and whatnot. Because, again, him not taking care of the football, him having issues processing stuff, holding on to the ball too long. Again, you got to kind of help coach him out of that. But then you also got to call the plays for that as well. Look, if I know he's staring down receivers trying to get a deep ball, I'm not calling too many deep route pass plays. It's just not going to happen because I need to be able to protect him from himself while he's in the game. The other part to this is you got a good complementary run game, so why not lean on that even more? Like, you got Bijan Robinson, his touches. I think Algier need to get a little bit more touches as well. If you want to have the running back by committee, that's perfectly fine. And if you have Kirk Cousins around with the 20 passes or whatnot, hey, look, 2 deep ball passes per game, whatever it may be. You got to sit there and say that because he gets trigger happy. Once he starts to see that, hey, okay, look, I got a guy that can catch this deep ball, even if it's not there, he will throw that ball down there. And I'm actually surprised he ended up with what he ended up when it comes down to the yards and the interception that he had. Because I thought he should have way more interception than what he had because he just didn't look like his old self as of what he was a couple weeks ago. So,
hey, I got a question for you, KD. Because for like a couple seasons, Arthur Smith was there, and now they got this Raheem Mostert, or not Raheem
Morris.
Raheem Mostert. Yeah, but because they're bringing it up on the chat, I'm going to ask you: do they have a Kyle Pitts problem? Is Kyle Pitts not what everybody thinks he is, or is he just being lost in the shuffle?
I would say it's hard because if we look at his stats, like the biggest thing for me would be his targets, right? How much is he target compared to a top tier tight end in the NFL, right? Because it's one thing to say, hey, he's not living up to a top 10 draft pick. That's fine. If you want to say that, the initial verdict, if you will, hey, okay, he's not holding his weight because he's a top 10 pick. But come to find out, he's in the lower half of the tight ends in the league of targets. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So like if he's not being targeted, then of course, I'm going to say he sucks, right? But if he's being targeted and he's not delivering, now I can dig in and say, hey, look, we got a Kyle Pitts problem, right? The other thing is like, okay, how do you scheme him open, right? Is his hand in the dirt, most of the time? Because that's where you're going to get your matchups. That's what you're gonna like. If I split you out wide, you're drawing cornerback 1 or safety 1, free safety. That's who you're drawing, right? I'm trying to get you on the linebackers. I'm trying to get you on your third linebacker. That's what I'm trying to get you on. And if you do that by, hey, okay, look, pass rusher, line up over the tight end, and the tight end tries to block me, but then he releases. Okay, now I can go out and do what I need to do. The next part of that is, who is the other complementary tight end to me, right? Because if it's me that they're going to throw it to most of the time, I know in the passing situation, hey, go cover Kyle Pitts or double Kyle Pitts or whatever it may be, because he's their only receiving tight end option, if that makes sense to you.
Yep. Gotcha.
Because now when I go 12 or 13 personnel, hey, look, I know you're not going to throw it to these guys. They don't catch anything. They caught 2 passes in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to Kyle Pitts, so I know where I'm going to put my coverage.
Right.
So I think those things got to happen before we can really say, hey, we got a Kyle Pitts problem.
Gotcha.
Okay, so guys, we're going to move on here because we're getting pressed for time. Now, here's what's going to happen to all our fans out here. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever the fuck you celebrate. And
Feliz
every
Navidad.
week, was that?
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, Feliz Navidad. And we air our grievances weekly on this show. But next week, because Christmas Eve is on Tuesday, Christmas is on Wednesday, we are not going to be on the air. But so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick this week's games and week's 17 games. And we are planning on doing a show on Saturday, the 28th of December. Hopefully we'll have it a little earlier in the day, and then we will go over week 18's picks, and then, of course, we'll be back for the playoffs. But we just want to let you know what we're doing here. As far as, here we go for the picks last week. Jeff was 12-4. David was 13-3. KD was 11-5. Eric was 10-6. I was 13-3. And again, Hot Pockets. Michael Paoli, 16-0. That's amazing. So right now, our viewer has 3 more wins, but we got 3 weeks, and I have no doubt that he will come crumbling down. So we're going to do picks for 2 weeks here, and we will let you know that according to injuries and weather and stuff that comes up, we will text each other in the chat. We may change things. We do always play this 100% on the honest here. So we're going to start. KD, you are below me. And the Broncos and Chargers got flexed to Thursday night. So who do you got here? Broncos at Chargers.
I'm going with Broncos, man. I just feel like they came up with a big win against the Colts. I just feel like they're going to build on it, and they understand what's in sight. So I don't think they're going to stumble. I got Broncos.
All right. Thank you for blowing me, KD.
Yeah, David. No. You got Jay who doesn't drop the D or drops the D, and then KD's blowing him, right? So anyway, I'm on the side. I'm the side guy. But anyway, that being said, Denver's defense is just, they're on a roll, and you take away that running game from the Chargers, you're exposing that offense to Surtain and Benito, and I'm taking Denver.
Okay. I am also taking Denver, and Eric has picked the Chargers for this game. I will have to get Jeffrey's. Oh my God! I just wrote down Jeffrey's initial for you, David. I'm sorry. You're like the same person. You're both equally as annoying. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the top of the list here because it was thrown in there. Cleveland at Cincinnati. David.
Oh, I'm taking Cincinnati. They got Tom DTR starting a quarterback. Cincinnati. Chubb's on IR.
Okay. I am also going to pick Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm going Cincinnati as well. I think Cleveland got too much going on.
And who's their quarterback this week?
DTR.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Okay. Okay, so then we have on Saturday afternoon, we got Houston at Kansas City. I am going with Kansas City on this one. Katie?
I'm going Kansas City as well. I just think Houston defense they're good, but I don't trust their offense.
All right. David? And yes, if they say that, Patrick Mahomes is not going to play, then you could say, hey, okay.
I don't think it matters. Houston traveling to Kansas City in December. It's going to be cold.
Global warming. It's fucking 60 degrees here. We should be 20.
Yeah. Well, that's here, not Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true.
But Kansas City has been the luckiest freaking team in the NFL.
Fire Goodell.
You know what? I'm going to take Houston in an upset.
Okay. And Eric also picked Houston. So right there, you lost. Okay, so I'm waiting on Paoli's pick. Okay, so we got Pittsburgh at Baltimore. KD. I'm thinking you're going Pittsburgh here from what you're wearing.
No. I'm going Baltimore. I just think this game is hey, look, they know what it means. Like hey, we're essentially giving away the division, and we're essentially making it harder for us to actually make the playoffs, because that schedule is not, you can argue, is one of the tougher schedules that's remaining outside of the Browns. But playing the Steelers and the Texans back to back in a matter of 10 days is one of those things. So I'm going Baltimore.
Yeah, I look at this game and I compare it as a tale of two teams. Pittsburgh got Baltimore earlier in the year. I think Baltimore has become even a more well-rounded team. They don't necessarily, I think in the beginning everybody said that Baltimore had to run, and teams started to gear up for them to just run. And Lamar Jackson has just come so far, and that offense has developed around the fact that they play off the play action so well. And I just don't think that Pittsburgh has a secondary to keep up with what Baltimore can throw at them. So for that reason, I'm taking Baltimore.
Okay. David's got Baltimore. Eric has picked Pittsburgh because, the last 3 out of 8 times that they've played, and Kenny Pickett has thrown for multiple touchdowns, and what I'm going Baltimore. I don't think they're going to lose this one at all.
I think Eric takes the officials in every game.
There it is.
If the team wins, it's because of the officials. If the team loses, it's because of the officials. So Eric's got the officials the rest of the season.
All right. And Paoli finally balled up and picked Houston, but he can change. And if he does, I will let everyone know in the chat there, because we're all kind of freaking out that a fan is doing better than us. Okay, so then we go on to the Sunday games. Giants at Atlanta. David.
Man. Giants Atlanta.
Drew Lock versus Michael Penix.
Drew Lock versus Michael Penix Jr. Wow. Barn burner. But I just think Atlanta has too much offensively. I think Penix is going to be able to extend plays with his legs as well. It's going to give Giants something that they haven't seen out of Atlanta. So I'm going to take Atlanta. It's going to be a close game, but I'll take Atlanta.
I'm taking Atlanta because the Giants suck and they're tanking the season. So Daboll can stay one more year and get a draft pick and suck again. Katie?
Yeah, Malik Neighbors throwing to Shedeur Sanders in New York is no coincidence. So the tank is in. I'm taking Atlanta.
All right. And now we have this is to me, New England at Buffalo. New England always beats Buffalo once a year, except for this year. Buffalo. KD.
Yeah, I'm going with Buffalo. There's no way they drop a game to New England this year based off how they've been talked about and what's riding on this. So if they believe that Kansas City drops another game, they're simply throwing away the one seed if they drop a game.
Buffalo's going to win this game.
Okay. Jay. Refs. Yeah, probably right. All right. So now on to KD. Tennessee at Indy.
I don't wanna.
I know that's a bullshit question.
I think the Colts rebound here, and I think Tennessee is just like, look, we're done. We got head coaches cussing people out because their team is being viewed as being soft. I think it's not going to matter. I think Indy going to come out and do what they need to do. So I got Indy in this one.
David.
Yeah, I think Rudolph gives them a little spark, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think Jonathan Taylor will cross the goal line without the ball in his hand again.
Just don't.
So yeah, I'll take Indianapolis.
Okay. I'm also picking Indy, and we're not going to have a discussion about this. I'm rubbing my. How many times this year have fucking people done that? Drop the ball before. I can't handle it anymore. I can't handle it. They have to have. They have all the Rookie of the Year and this. They need to have the Jackass of the Year award, and the jackasses who've done this should get an award. I can't take it anymore. Okay, so. On to the Rams versus the Jets. Is anyone picking the Jets here?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. GKS. And I'm even going to say Paoli is going to pick that, but Paoli didn't pick Tennessee.
I am starting Aaron Rodgers in fantasy, though.
I think he might have something. All right. And then, okay, we got Philly at Washington. I forgot who the hell we're on because we just went through that one so fast. So we'll go to David. David, Philly at Washington. Who you got?
Philly.
All right. Okay. I am going Philly. I know Paley's going Philly. KD?
Yeah. Same thing. Same reason why I said Buffalo shouldn't drop a game. Same thing for Philly. They looking at Minnesota and the Lions. They understand, look, we can't play around. We lose our position. So if they're thinking about the one seed, you got to win out.
All right. And Eric has picked Washington in this game. Okay, so next one to me, Arizona at Carolina. I'm going Arizona. Kitty?
I don't know, man. Carolina started to move around, move the ball and stuff. You know, their defense is okay. It ain't horrible. They played Dallas pretty significant. Let me get Carolina in a semi upset. Let me get Carolina.
Yeah, I'm taking Carolina.
Oh wow! So both of you have semis. Okay. Lost on the tragic view. Okay, so then we have so is it KD?
Yep.
Minnesota. What's that?
Yeah, it's me.
Minnesota at Seattle.
Minnesota. I just feel like they're clicking. They're clicking on all cylinders. The defense doesn't have to do too much. Offense doesn't have to do too much. And then if we all got Sam Darnold as high as we have him, I just don't see him basically risking the defense. So risking the game. So I got Minnesota.
Yeah,
okay.
I got Minnesota. Even if Geno practiced full, I'm sure he's still feeling that pain. And like Katie said, they got to get Kenneth Walker back. And Yeah, Minnesota needs this game. They have the number 1 overall seed in sight, and they ain't gonna lose it to a Seattle team.
Okay. See, sorry, I'm trying to keep up Paoli here.
Paoli took AZ.
Okay, so I got a Paoli. You don't need to answer that. Okay, so I got Minnesota also. So Eric has Seattle. He's the only one with Seattle so far. Jacksonville at Las Vegas. Like.
This is me.
Yeah.
And I am going to take Jacksonville. I mean, outside of Brock Bowers and their quarterback situation is awful. Their running back situation is non-existent. I think Jacksonville at least has some of the horses in the stable from the offensive side of the ball to get it done. Brian Thomas Jr. probably going to be Rookie of the Year. They got Bigsby and ETN, Brent Strange. So yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville. I just don't see Vegas being able to do it. Brock Bowers alone cannot do this.
Max Crosby being out, I think that's what does this game. Because if he was in, I think he could take over this game and win it by himself, kind of like Lawrence Taylor used to. So I'm going Jacksonville, but this is like, I don't know, this is like crap on top of crap on top of crap. KD?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get the Jaguars. I just don't see anything from the Raiders this year with the losses they've taken.
Okay. And Eric has Las Vegas. Okay, so this one is, oh, Jesus Christ. This is the one I didn't want to pick. San Francisco at Miami. Damn it. I lost on San Francisco last week because Purdy played like shit. Oh, God. Miami being at home. It's the afternoon, East Coast. God damn it. I'm going to go San Francisco. Son of a... That's a wrong move. And I'm saying it now. So when they lose next week, I was wrong. KD?
Tua is starting to turn the ball back over a lot more again, like he was. So I just don't see how he can overcome anything. So give me San Francisco.
Yeah, look at Deebo Samuel's going to be pissed. I don't think he drops another thing. But more importantly, Jalen Waddle's hurt. He might not play this week. I don't think they have anybody to complement Tyreek Hill. Their running game is good, but if Dre Greenlaw is healthy again and he's playing, that'll take care of the running game. San Francisco just too tough on both sides, and they were a drop pass away from actually winning that game last week. The Debo drop, so I don't think he forgets. So give me San Fran.
All right, and we did not talk about the dude from San Francisco walking off the field. I can't take that anymore. So anyway, people say he should play down in the NFL again. I agree with him.
Yeah, he might never play another down in football.
Okay, so anyway, now we got Tampa Bay at Dallas. KD, who you got?
I just gave Baker Mayfield his praise. And Bucky Irvin, I gave him their ordeal. But Dallas defense is starting to come around. With that being said, though, I don't trust Cooper Rush. I just don't. So I'm going Tampa Bay. Let me get Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is going to be a close game, but I'm going to take Tampa. Again, it's the Cooper Rush thing, and Trayvon Diggs is out for the year. So yeah, give me Tampa.
All right, I am also taking Tampa. And last for this week is New Orleans at Green Bay. David.
Oh man, New Orleans is hurting. I don't know Kamara's complete status, but if he don't go, then Kendra Miller's up. Quarterback, Jake Hayner or whoever the other dude is. Green Bay should win this game.
Okay. Yeah. Dome team from the South going to play a night game against Canada. Canada number 2 besides Buffalo. It's
Hey, don't talk to Canada like that. There's a petition going around to make them the 51st state.
Yep.
Man. I will punch you if you weren't blowing me. I'd punch you in the D.
They are. Why not? We're gonna have it's gonna be divided into 2 separate. It's gonna be actually like there's gonna be the liberal side and the conservative side.
Oh, don't start this. No,
it's not. It's going to be like Saskatoon, Manitoba, all those western states are going to be the conservative, and then you're going to get the Toronto and all that other crap is going to be the liberal.
Hey, what the hell is Saskatoon?
Saskatoon.
Sarsaparilla.
Saskatchewan. Manitoba. Moose Jaw.
All right, KD, who do you got? New Orleans or Green Bay?
I'm going Green Bay. There's no way New Orleans wins this game.
All right. I need to take a break for 30 seconds, so you two quickly talk about Christmas Day. Kansas City at Pittsburgh. Who wins and why?
Go ahead, KD.
I'll tell you this right here. The way Pittsburgh wins this game, right? It is run game, and run game. Like if we believe in Jalen Warren and we believe in Najee Harris, that's what's gonna win you the game. Like I'm to the point to where I'm more 75, 80% run versus pass. Because once you start to pass, that's where Kansas City kind of get let off the hook, right? If you got somebody that can block your A gaps and keep Chris Jones at bay, I feel like you got opportunity, right? But now there's a big ask because Pittsburgh is playing with 2 rookies on their O-line. So that's a big ask to ask them to grow up and say, hey, look, we need you to primarily focus on run blocking for about 75, 85% of the game, or 75, 80% of the game. I don't see it playing out that way. So for me, I'm gonna have to take Kansas City. If Pittsburgh, for some odd reason, can get in their 12 or 13 package and run the ball successfully and dink and donk with Washington, that's the other thing too. Washington got to be a receiving threat. He can't just be a blocker. He got to be a receiving threat. I got it. They tried it a couple of times, but they got to be like, hey, look, I got Freiermuth on the field, but I'm not throwing it to him. I'm throwing it to Washington. And you're going to have to show me that you're ready to deal with him in the open field. Because I just feel like you tip your cards too quick, too soon if Freiermuth on the field with Washington and you don't throw him the ball significant amount of time. I just feel like you basically, again, you allow the teams to get off the hook by not doing it. And it's just what I said earlier this year. They have to exploit the 12 or 13 personnel package. They have to.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, are they playing in Kansas City or Detroit or Pittsburgh?
They're playing in Pittsburgh. I apologize real quick. Just stop. I missed the game. Detroit at Chicago. Is anyone picking Chicago?
No.
Okay.
You didn't miss a game. Hey, you didn't miss a game. You're a smart guy. You knew what was going on. You didn't miss a game.
Yeah. It was like all of a sudden I looked down like no one had anything. I'm like, no one is picking.
Yeah, we're all taking Detroit.
Okay, so let's move on. We got 18 minutes or 16 minutes left. Let's blow through this in 16 minutes if we can. Yeah. I'm sorry, David, to cut you off.
No, but he picked Kansas City. Yeah, Katie, I'm with you. If Pittsburgh cannot run the ball, And Spagnuolo's defense, they're going to be primed to stop the run because they understand exactly what the deal is. George Pickens, they will not let George Pickens beat them. Their cornerback safety combo will high-low him. And they will get to Russell Wilson. And I just think that this game is going to be too much, and I think Pittsburgh goes down.
Okay. I also agree. Paoli, if you're still on, you got to pick Kansas City or Pittsburgh. Next game. Good game. Great way to end Christmas as you're eating your prime rib or your turkey or whatever the hell you do. Baltimore at Houston. David.
Houston don't have the dogs to hunt in this game. Like I said, I just think, as much as I'm a Bills fan and watch stuff, I just think Lamar Jackson and that offense and the way that he's been playing lately and the things he's been able to do with that, they're just going to overwhelm Houston. Baltimore, I got.
Okay. I also agree. I think Baltimore. Last year, if we were in the same position, I would have picked Houston because they were playing out their ass. Houston's playing sloppy, but when it's sloppy, but they're winning. But I think Baltimore is hungry, and they're going to get it. KD.
The Texans secondary is playing really, really good, despite their struggles. So I think if we come out passing, it makes the game a little more even for them or a little bit easier for them. I think we got to stick with our run and put it on them as much as we can, and therefore it puts them in a panic mode. So I got Baltimore in this one.
All right. And that'll be the championship week. One thing I'm going to say is the NFL schedule now, because of the way the bye weeks fall, and like week 15 was fucking brutal. It's fucking up fantasy football. And that's the one thing I don't think they thought about, but I think they're thinking about now, because it's such a big part of the NFL. So anyway, okay, so then on Thursday, December 26th, we have Seattle at Chicago. Seattle, Katie?
Seattle and who?
At Chicago.
Oh gosh, one of those games. Let me go ahead and get Seattle. I don't trust anything Chicago is putting out. It just functionally they are bad. They are just not good.
Yeah,
David.
This season's a wrap. Give me Seattle.
Okay. And then now we have KD to you, Denver at Cincinnati on Sunday.
You said who? Denver? What now?
Denver at Cincinnati.
Oh no. Oh man, this is
a tough one.
Yeah, it is. Because
you're playing strength versus strength.
Right. And I just don't see I want to go Denver. However, the strength offensively for the Bengals could give them fits. I just don't trust the Bengals defense though. And they haven't been good all year. So let me get the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm also taking Denver for that reason. It's not what Cincinnati's offense can't do, but that is like strength versus strength. And then when I look at offensively against Cincinnati's defense, I think Denver has that upper hand, and they end up winning this game.
Right. I am going Cincinnati in this one. Cincinnati being at home. Denver, as good as they've kind of been, they're very shaky. Like a play or two every game, it's going a different way. And I think Joe Burrow is going to get a victory, and that'll be it. Okay, so David, I guess now it's Arizona at the LA Rams.
that Rams offense is clicking, and Arizona don't have the horses to keep up. I'm going Rams.
I am also going Rams in this game. KD?
Yeah, I'm going Rams.
All right. Now to me. Son of a bitch. Chargers at New England. You know, like last week I picked New England. Because I'm like, they got to do, they're just, I think New England is kind of like the Panthers right now. So I got to go the Chargers in this one. KD?
Yeah, let me get the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, if it was a different situation, I might pick the upset here and take New England, but because I think the Chargers are going to be fighting for playoff positioning, I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers.
Okay. And remember, just for everyone out there, we can change. If weather's coming through, if there's injuries, we can change this because this is 2 weeks out. We're not dealing with the game. It's a couple days away. Okay, so KD, Indy at Giants.
Give me the Colts.
I'll take the Colts.
I will also take the Colts. David, Atlanta at Washington.
Give me Washington.
I'm also going Washington.
I'm going Washington as well.
Okay, is anyone taking the Jets beating Buffalo at home?
No, but it's gonna be a tight game, and
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Division games are different.
This is
especially these two teams. Not Buffalo, New England, but these two teams, no matter what, they always play tough. And again, sometimes the mighty fall to earth at the right time. And if there was a right time to just come back down and get that little extra incentive going into the playoffs, this might be that time. But I say I'm picking Buffalo, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets humble them a little. But I'm picking Buffalo.
If I ever want something said as my last words before they shoot me, David, I'm going to select you to please speak on my behalf, because you can take the most basic thing and make it last for 45 minutes.
Well, see, so I could prolong your life.
Yes.
Well, you also can make it miserable too. So you reach up out of the casket and bitch slap you.
Or he could be talking to me like, "Would you please fucking shoot already, please?" Okay, so this is a great game, and this is one we need to talk about for just a couple minutes. We're running short on time. We got 6.5 minutes left. Green Bay at Minnesota.
We didn't even do our rookies of the year stuff.
We're not going to have time for that.
I'm going Minnesota, barely though, very like minimum.
Yeah. Minnesota's playing for home field. I'm taking Minnesota. They're on a mission.
I'm going to make Jay happy. Jason. Green Bay. Now, Green Bay's playing good ball, man. Green Bay's playing really good ball. And honestly, Vikings the last couple of weeks, man, they've played some shit teams, and they're just hawking it up there, getting lucky. I don't think they do it against Green Bay. Okay, so, oh, God. David, Vegas at New Orleans.
Who cares? New Orleans.
KD.
Is New Orleans and who?
Vegas at New Orleans.
Let me get Vegas.
Ooh.
No, Vegas,
go New Orleans
quarterback.
Vegas
wants to pick early. They want a quarterback.
Vegas has kind of got number one wrapped up, don't they?
No.
Except for the Giants have.
Do you know that there is an NFL record, 7 teams with 3 wins or less.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it because it's so stacked.
Yeah, 7 teams with 3 wins or less.
That's just a bad year. Okay, David, Carolina at Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
I'm going Tampa. KD?
Tampa.
All right, to me, Tennessee at Jacksonville. I'm going to go Jacksonville in this game, being at home. And, Tennessee, I have to, when they play next week, if they play decent, I may change this. But originally, this is where I'm going. KD.
This is where I think Tennessee is like, hey, you know what? This is satisfaction for our season. So I'm going Tennessee with this one.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to say Mason Rudolph has too much pride to lose to Mac Jones. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
All right. So KD, Dallas goes into Philadelphia.
It don't matter what the hell they play. It's over. It's fucking Philly. It's Philly. Look, I don't care. I don't care if they play on the back of a fucking truck. It's Philly.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of wrote that all down for us. And then here we go, David. Miami at Cleveland Sunday night at the – oh, no, something got flexed into this, and I don't know what it was. But I know Miami.
Cleveland Sunday. But Miami at Cleveland.
Yeah, Miami at Cleveland.
I will take Miami in this game. Okay. Wait, hold on. You know what? Miami can't win when it's below 40 degrees. Give me Cleveland.
I'm going to erase this. I mean, cross it out, which sucks because I know I'm going to be right and above it anyway. Because they're not playing at night. So if it was night, I would kind of agree. But Cleveland's got nothing. I'm going Miami in this game. KD?
Yeah, let me get Miami.
All right. And last but not least, on Monday Night Football, December 30th, 2024, Detroit at San Francisco.
Let me get the Lions.
Detroit at Frisco?
Yep, Detroit at San Francisco.
I am going to take San Francisco. Detroit's defense is decimated. And I just don't think they can hang with Frisco. I'm going to take Frisco. I love Detroit, but Frisco is going to win this game, I think.
I think Dan Campbell doesn't punt the ball once in this game. And I don't care if it's 4th and 18, he's going to fucking go for it because he's an idiot. But Detroit's going to win this game because they're pissed off because of his asinine call last year. They didn't go to the Super Bowl. They got to go to the Super Bowl. They need this win to maintain their number 1 position. They will win. All right. So that's it for this week and the following week. We will see you all on December 28th, but I want to give KD and Jeffrey just a moment if they want to wish anyone anything for the coming time. So, KD, I'm going to open the floor to you.
Hey, look, it's playoff season. Stuff starting to come out. Hey, look, if your team's not making it, go ahead and look forward to those draft picks or you look at your draft board or what you need and all that good jazz. Don't just sit on the couch and then be mad because you don't know who somebody is when your team picks him. Or you can say, hey, this guy sucks when your team does pick him and you can fly a plane over your stadium like they're doing in MetLife. Is that MetLife? Was it MetLife with the Giants player?
Yep.
Yeah, so you could fly a plane over MetLife Stadium week in and week out talking about how bad your team is. But, yeah, hey, look, happy holidays to everybody. If you don't get what you want, it's okay. At least you're getting something.
That's right. No, I just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. Also, again, it is getting crunch time in the season. I know a lot of these games don't matter, don't have significance for the playoffs, but they do have draft implications.
Fuck you.
I'm just kidding. But no, seriously. And good luck to all those people still in fantasy playoffs. I know that this is your time of the year. It doesn't matter what the real NFL is doing. We understand that you cheer for players and that you want your players to do well, and you're going after matchups and so on and so forth. Yeah. So, again, good luck to you all. But anyway, again, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Be safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your family time. I'm trying to keep Sean alive, so I'm going to keep talking.
No, I'm here. Anyway, just spend as much time as you can with your family. Remember, it's a special time of year. It's always good, but yet tough for everybody. I do want to once again say, David, great sweatshirt. He did steal that from the Smithsonian. That was right beside the Cosby sweaters exhibit. But so anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, everything to everybody. I look forward to speaking with you in about 12 days. And besides that, everyone just remember, all our best memories come from the couch. Have a good night.